In this video 2-3, we will be solving multi-step equations. So by the end of the video and the work time in class, you should be able to say, I can solve multi-step equations. In the first problem here, we're going to look at 8x plus 5 minus 6x is the same as 25. And so we can see where we have our equal sign. We want to get the x terms together on the left side. So we are going to do 8x minus 6x to give us 2x. And then we still have plus 5 is the same as 25. So we simplified that left side by combining the like terms. Like I said, 8x and negative 6x. And then from here, to get the x isolated, we're going to subtract 5 on both sides. Sorry about that. So we have 20 here is the same as 2x. And then divide both sides by 2. So x is 10. So our solution is 10. And then we can come back, check our work. So come up here and do 8 times 10 plus 5 minus 6 times 10. And is that the same as 25? And that works, so 10 is the correct solution. In number 2, Jason bought 5 movie tickets and a bag of popcorn, and Jeremy bought 2 movie tickets. They spent a total of $54. If the popcorn cost $5, how much did each movie ticket cost? So we're looking at movie tickets. So let's use t for our variable. That's going to be the unknown. So we're taking words, we're writing this multi-step equation, then we'll solve for the solution, looking for the cost of a ticket. So if we go back up, Jason, he bought 5 tickets, so 5 times t, which is what we don't know, which we're looking for, and a bag of popcorn, which is $5, so 5t plus 5 was for Jason. And then Jeremy, he bought 2 tickets, so we're adding 2 tickets, and the total cost was $54. So here's our equation. We're going to combine like terms, our 5t plus 2t, and then we get 7t plus 5 is the same as 54. Subtract 5 from both sides using our properties of equality. That's 0. 7t is the same as 49. And then divide both sides by 7, because that simplifies over here to get t alone. 49 divided by 7 gives you 7. So the cost of one ticket is $7. And you can come back up and check your work by plugging in 7 here for t and here for t. So do 5 times 7 plus 5 plus 2 times 7, and you get 54. In this problem, we have parentheses in the multi-step equation. And so what we want to do to get that x all alone, you see the x is inside the parentheses there, you want to use the distributive property to get rid of the parentheses. So 12 times 3, and then minus 12 times x, and that equals 60. And then to get the x alone, you're going to first subtract 36 from both sides. And then we have 24 on the right side. We have negative 12x because that minus sign in front, that means it's negative. So if we want to get that x alone, we'll divide by a negative 12 on both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you do to the other, and you end up with a negative 2 for a solution. Check your work. Plug negative 2 into the original. And that works. So negative 2 is the solution. In this problem, you can see some rational numbers here. We have 3x over 4 minus x over 8, and that equals 5. So what I want to do is make the rational numbers have a common denominator so I can combine them. So I'm going to multiply the 4 by 2 and the 3 by 2, so then I'm left with 6/8. So then what we have here is 6/8 x, that would be this rational expression, minus, now in front of this x is a 1, so this is the same as saying 1/8 x right here, and this equals 5. Now I'm going to combine like terms. I know that 6/8 minus 1/8. See, I can combine like terms here. I can combine these two terms because they both have an x. So I look at the coefficient 6/8, subtract 1/8. I'm left with 5/8. X is the same as 5. Now to get the x alone, we can multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 5/8, which would be 8/5, because this all reduces to 1, so the x is all alone. Now if I'm doing 5 times 8/5, if I make this a rational number and reduce the 5's, multiply my numerators and denominators, I'm left with 8. And we can check our work by coming back up here and plugging in 8 and 8 here, and it works out where it equals 5. The last problem, we have decimals. 2.3 minus 0.05x is the same as 4.80. So to get that x alone, we first want to subtract the 2.3 from both sides. So this is 0, so I'm left with negative 0.05x, and that's the same as 2.5. Then I'm going to divide by 5/100, negative 5/100. And so when we do 2.5 divided by negative 5/100, we end up with a negative 50. If you did long division, if you did 2.5 divided by 0.05, and that's a negative, we know our quotient's going to be a negative. If I move the decimal over twice here, I have to move the decimal twice here. Put a 0. My decimal goes right above where it was in the problem. So now I'm looking at 250 divided by 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 goes into 0 0 times. 5 times 0. Remainder of 0, so there's where we get our negative 50. And we can check our work. I used opposite colors here. You can plug 50 in for x, and you see that it will, or sorry, negative 50 for x, and you will see that that will work. So that is the solution. Can you say, I can solve multi-step equations? Write a summary and reflection and be prepared with any questions for in class.